there isn't, unfortunately, a whole lot in terms of plays, um, but there's a lot you can do with pretty much one or two plays. And my aim is to really show you what you can do with these one or two plays. One in particular, the cross drag, is amazing, and that was why I kind of showed it a little bit in some gameplay, just to get you a little familiar with it. Now, if you're familiar at all with pistol bunch tight end, I'm sure you are, then this play actually looks very similar because they have the same play. So I'm gonna do a couple different things. I'll talk you through everything I'm doing. So motioning out X and streaking B. That's very similar to what you'll see in a dagger concept. I mean, it's a dagger concept anyway, but the motion out gives it some space. So we see how that works. So that's something we can do. And I'll let you know when we see my favorite setups as well. So we'll motion the tight end out, we'll streak him, and then he's gonna do a good job clearing out. You'll see for the crossing route, and of course X following behind him. And that running back delay route is actually very good. It gets low enough that that the defense has to respect it, but it's also in a spot that, unless they're playing half flats, you can actually hit it and pick up a few yards. And just remember, not every play needs to get 10 yards, not every play needs to get 20 yards. If you're picking up 4 or 5 yards, it's the same thing as a run, right? Now right here, excuse me a minute, I'm going to talk you through something. I have never been a big fan of bunch offenses, and I tell you what, I'm actually not treating this like a bunch offense per se. I'm not treating it as though it's a single back. That's what I really should say. Well, you'll see I'm gonna play around with the tight end in the backfield some. I'm treating this almost like it's an empty set. Like I'm not even gonna run. Like, these are all receivers and receiving options. Will we block some? I was messing around with some blocking a little bit, you'll see, but to be completely honest, I prefer keeping the running back on that delay route, and he'll block if he needs to. Going through, I think this is actually the Niners playbook, so you'll be able to see what can and can't be audibled into from the 49ers playbook. Obviously that'll be different, but what you can see is that 11 personnel you'll be able to audible into whichever playbook you're in, because this is in a few different playbooks. So we put B on the hitch here. You're gonna motion him out. So now I'm gonna bring him back. I actually wouldn't mind motion snapping that hitch right outside of the tight end, but we'll put him on the flat wheel. So of course the flat wheel combo is gonna pull that flat. It's gonna pull the zones away, and the wheel route is open if you pass it early. You don't want to wait till he gets too far up the field, because the two of them, he's gonna get into a conflict with the crossing route. But he'll absolutely have some space down in the early stages of the progression. So now let's just do the flat and see how well he opens up the actual crossing route. See, he's drawing coverage again. So that flat does a great job of distracting those lower zones and opening up either for a wheel underneath it or the crossing route over top of it. Now the other thing we could do is we could motion him over on a whip, and you'll see that the whip, the running back route, and the Y route are all gonna head towards the sideline at different levels. So you'll be able to read those. You can block the running back and do that. You can put the running back on the wheel and do that. Now the motion slant is going to give you 2 options coming right to left and 2 options going left to right. All well spaced. The user can't cover them all. You're going to have options on that play. So there's a lot you can do with this. I am going to show you what the base setups I suppose are, like the main setups I would use if I was running this. But you absolutely want to play around. That crossing route is money, so more often than not I'm going to keep that. There are going to be some setups where you take it out, but more often than not the crossing route is going to stay there, because you're going to give him something that he has to respect every single play, and you just mix up all the other routes to keep him guessing. Different routes, different motions. This is what it's going to be. And as a matter of fact, I want you to come up with some things too. I'm not going to be able to come up with everything. Absolutely not. There's so much you can do here. So let me know if you come up with anything interesting. I'm absolutely interested in knowing what you come up with. This is one that is a lot of fun to play with. Like, I actually took this in game and was just freestyling, because you really don't have to have a plan. I mean, you want to have a plan, but when you got routes like this, you got some good things going on, you can absolutely go and say, okay, well, I know what works. You know, you have a crosser, so you know you want to use some flat routes. You want to mix some wheels in with the flat routes. We could do some curl flat type of things. An out route here if that's a cover 3. So now you have the drag and the out route on the left hand side. You have the flat and the cross on the right hand side. See, so you're just going to mix up different ways that you're going to be making your opponent adjust. Because right now he's looking at a high-low on either side of the field that he has to figure out. You got a curl flat going on. Oh, we're not going to use the curl flat yet, but the drag flat. See, so it's still a high-low, but now we're keeping the curl inside instead of letting him go outside. See, so you're just making space and you're just attacking different areas of zones. And this is important because once you see your opponent starting to adjust to any one thing, well, he has to move somebody from somewhere in order to cover anything. So you just start putting players in different positions to succeed. So we're gonna keep our dual drags and we're gonna axe clear out for everything coming to the right. So that's nice. I mean, anytime you have a clear out for that crossing route, it's gonna get wide open. I mean, it gets open anyway, but it's wide open anytime you have something going vertical on the outside there. The dual hitches, I didn't incorporate this. Oh no, this is if you have that apprentice route on your tight end. So I'll show a few of these. And when you have that, you're just going to use the dual crossers and you're going to do a whole bunch of different things down low. Very similar to what people do with split close. You know, you can use dual drags, you can use dual flats, you can use whips, you can use hitches, out routes. I mean, you're going to mix up what's underneath. And like I said, this is another one you're going to want to play with. Now I'm going to tell you absolutely, because you have Kittle, I'm going to show you we're really going to have some fun with this formation, because there's some things that you can do with Kittle that I don't think most people are taking advantage of in the community. You know, and I'm gonna wait until we get there before I say what it is, and you'll be able to have a look at it and give me your feedback. Tell me what you think about it. Remember, we're treating this like an empty sack, so we got 5 receivers on the field as far as I'm concerned, 5 receiving options. So we're gonna keep the streak on the left hand side now, so he's clearing out for Kittle, but there's nothing down low, so that's not really my favorite, but we could definitely do that if we kept another route going down low. Maybe if we motion a drag, have the drag come back. So that's something you can try. Let me know how it works out, or I can go ahead and try it if you take too long. Now we're gonna motion out the slant. Axe has some room over there. See that? Motion out the slant, we motion out a streak. So you'll see that a streak on that sideline is actually gonna do some work. So my favorite way to do that, this isn't it. The dual streaks, please don't do this. Yeah, I was just checking to see if one will hold the safety, but I don't like it at all. It's an absolute waste. Can you leave B inside? Likely if you had the timing right, the speed right, the matchup right. But it's absolutely too much work and too many variables for an iffy throw. So I don't want you to do that at all. I do not want to put him on a streak, not here. Let me see. Oh, well, yeah, because I motioned across. Yeah, that can actually work. The drag and the dig actually got some pretty good spacing. This is going to be one of your go-to plays without blocking the running back. I actually like the running back staying on his route. But that B route, if you got a cover 2 going on over there, or a cover 6, cover 9, depending on the alignment, you're going to be able to get him open in space against a few of those zones. But I'm going to show a little bit later where I do keep him B on his route, because I think the B route is actually pretty useful, extremely useful as a matter of fact. But you'll see that streak finds a spot. And as a matter of fact, I beat a couple cover 3s with it as well. Not every cover 3, but I definitely beat a couple. So we're gonna take it in lab against cover 3 to learn what it looks like when you're gonna beat it and when not. But the cool thing is, you still have exceptional routes going all around the rest of the field. So if that streak isn't open, by all means, you got a drag, you got a cross, and you got a deep dig come behind it. And if you keep the run back on this route, you got somebody else down going out low underneath that crosser. So this is actually going to be one of the base plays. By all means, it's going to be a base play. All right, I'm going to go into some of the other plays in this formation, but it's not something that I'm going to recommend you run. unless you lab it, because I'm not good at those things. Like, I know my strengths, and my strengths don't lie in like, I'm good with a jet sweep, but when you get into the fake jet wide receiver motion, and I'm not that great with it. There was one, and I can actually look it up and tell you, there's one that's really good. It's like HB jet seam, but it's like I think gun stack in the spread offense, and I think it was the Browns offense. That one was actually really good. It's a really good fake. But other than that, I'm not too great with the trick plays. So we're gonna do a flat with the streak. So now this is another one you can mix in. If you're motioning that streak out, I remember we're gonna motion him out on different things. But when you motion him out, remember you always got these other routes over here that you can play with. And you're gonna hear me saying it over and over. You want to mix up what you're doing. You're gonna have high lows at different places, but you can mix them. You can mix them up. You can. A lot of it's similar concepts with different motions and different routes, and it just keeps your opponent on his toes. So we're gonna finish that off. Crosser is getting out there. I should have hit the dig there. All right, so we'll move on to the next bit. All right, so we're gonna continue on with the single back bunch. Tight end. I know it seems like we're putting a lot of time into this cross track play, but the truth is, I really want to drive home just how good a play it is. In the next video, we're gonna get into some. You know what? We'll save the next video for the next video. I want to focus on this because it's a really good play to cross track. And in this one, I'll show you some of the other things. I'm not gonna get into it too much because, like I said, I'm not gonna use them a lot. I will say though, the bubble and the zone, I was messing with that some, and the zone run for starters is a lot better than some other zone runs. And I've been finding that the single back zone run seem to be really good this year. So that zone run and the bubble, you want to keep that in your audibles. You may even want to come out in it and make them respect the bubble and the run before anything else, because that's something that has to be adjusted to. Once your opponent sees you throwing a bubble, they have to make sure they got 3 guys over there. Otherwise, you're gonna be able to beat them with the bubble, right? So, tell you what, for your next update, for the next single back bunch tight end update, I'm going to go over the bubble a little bit more, and we'll see what it does with different motions, because I did a little bit here, but we're going to go over it a little bit more, because I think it actually can be something, especially if you start mixing in similar motions to what we're doing with the cross track. We can probably really cause some trouble. Excuse me, sorry. So we're going to do that. But this, like I told you, I was going to do it with the running back left on his route. Now do you see it? The spacing is impeccable. It's absolutely beautiful. And you got all these routes going right to left, but watch B. Look at everybody going right to left, and look at B. Look at the space he gets. Your crosser gets there too. But I think if you see a cover 2, and to be honest, with the progression reads on this play, you can throw this against anything. But if you see a cover 2, you gotta smoke this. All right, so we got a wheel going out here. Now this was all recorded days ago, so forgive me if I have to pause and watch what's going on before I can actually commentate or narrate. Here we go. See, now here we go. This is, to be completely honest, this stick play isn't bad. You see the spacing that you get here? Now what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up blocking the running back, because I feel like that route, if I'm going to motion the slant, that route might not do me much justice. Can I put the running back on a different route? Quite possibly. So that's something else we'll look into. But these 4 routes right here, beautiful, beautiful. The slant's wide open, the flat's wide open, and then you still got that streak down the sideline. If you have the apprentice tight end, you can put Kittle on this route. I would try him on some other things too, but he does clear out a little bit for the slant. You see. So it's not bad. And if you're going against man, it's great, because you're going to have 2 man beating routes. Corners from in tight are still getting it done this year. Now here goes that. Oh, was it the power alert? Oh, it's the power alert bubble. That's why. Power runs are amazing. I thought it was the zone. See, like I said, it's been a couple days. By all means, any run with pulling guards this year or pulling linemen, you want to work that into your offense. They are the best runs this year. And I'm like, the trap run is the foundation of my run and shoot offense right now. It's absolutely beautiful. I meant to throw the bubble screen right there if you're wondering why I turned around. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna check some of these motions for the screen, Cause see, yeah, it still sets up the block pretty decently, and if you got him chasing that crossing route all across the field and the streak up the sidelines, you're gonna be able to do some things with this bubble. Now, this wide receiver power fake jet, that's a mouthful. It's a fun looking play, it really is, but I'm not that good at these things, and it's probably just because I haven't put a lot of time into it. So if this is your thing, try it out. And matter of fact, if it's your thing, maybe you could teach me how to do it. This one looks like it could be fun if you quick throw X, and then also depending on what the defense is, you see they actually push zones back. So if you're using like Lamar Jackson, I mean, that's a 30-yard run, right? So that has potential as well. And if I were using it, I might just use it as a planned run, to be honest. I wouldn't even worry about the reads going to the left. It would be between the X receiver and the quarterback. I think that's what I would do with it. Yeah, if I could throw X, I'd hit him. Otherwise, I'd run. See, so I might look into this one too. I don't know, but see, this is what happens when you're labbing. You get all these great ideas, but it's really good to watch stuff after you lab, because you see things that you missed before. This I don't like at all, by the way. I watched this setup a few times and it just doesn't work for me. There are too many routes in close quarters that just make it too easy to cover. So you can pretend like you didn't even see that. I'm not proud of that. Alright, this might be where we start to have a little bit of fun. Let's have a look. Yep, it is. So watch what we're going to do. We're putting Kittle on the bench. No, we're not really putting Kittle on the bench. We're putting Kittle at fullback, and then we're going to go to a fullback package. Now here's the thing. Kittle gets apprentice routes at every position. Every position. That includes running back. So why not move him around a little bit? You see? We're going to move him. I'm going to try Kittle at fullback or running back in this offense, and you're going to see how good it actually looks in this particular offense. I haven't tried him in a lot of others. Now, if you want to still be able to audible to 11 personnel or to other personnel period, because you're not going to be able to audible with 2 tight ends and 3 receivers, you can put a running back at your 3rd receiver position, and he'll end up lining up over there in the bunch. So then you can still run all these plays and be able to audible. But you see what happens now is, who's your best receiver? Is it a tight end? Is it a running back? Because if it's one of them, then okay, great. But if it's a tight end, why not put the tight end at fullback and then put the fullback package out there? Now you got 5 great receivers. Because like I said, I'm considering this to be a passing offense. And this route combination is the best. This is, matter of fact, the flat with the drag is the basis of those great trade wide flex offenses. So this is actually a meta concept right here, because the flat is your first quick read and the drag, and you keep throwing those, make them have to respect it, and then the crosser has to be user. So if he's respecting these, if he's using these low routes, you're gonna have the crosser every play. If he puts out hard flats and uses that route, then you're gonna have the deep dig because he can't cover both of those. Now we have the benefit of also having this motion out streak that's going to be going over the top of some coverages, and then you can also, once he really starts catching on to all of that, you just start mixing it up. But it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of hot routing to start that setup. So that's going to be a primary. See, so now we got 2 primary setups. So now, of course, we're going to do some of these apprentice routes. And watch RB&B. Look what they do. You see all that space? So that's beautiful, and that's keeping the crossing route to Y. Right now we're gonna do it and put Y on a streak, which clears out a little bit more. But I think both of these options are, oh, actually we're gonna do the flat first, I'm sorry. So there's the flat, and you're gonna have the 2 of them, and that's keeping Y on the crosser. We're gonna put Y on the streak. I remember putting Y on the streak. Where is it? There's our angle route. There's an out route. Okay, I don't like this one too much because I think A and B get on top of each other too fast. Angle route. There's the streak. Oh, it's B. No, we're gonna put Y on the streak eventually, I'm pretty sure. But this is clean too. Look at A and B. You see that? And then RB is wide open too. Yeah, so we're gonna have some fun with this 49ers offense, because like I said, we are gonna be moving Kittle around because the game gives him apprentice routes at different positions for a reason, and it seems like he's always at tight end or maybe at wide receiver, but nobody ever puts him in the backfield. I'm putting him in the backfield. We put him in the backfield, and we're gonna change the game, and we're gonna give him hell, because that's what we do. We give him hell. We motion him out. Now, I'm not gonna motion Kittle out too much from the backfield because he ends up with the outside receiver routes, and there isn't too much I really want out of that right now. But when he's lined up at tight end, we put him on the crossing route and motion him out. Then we have those two crosses to give defenses some headaches. That works. But out the backfield, no. This ghost route is something that is terribly underrated and underused in Madden. When you use this route, it's either gonna suck zones to it like a magnet, or it's gonna be wide open. And I'm gonna use this to create spacing concepts. So it's gonna be a lot of low routes. You see the flat, the hitch. Oh, that was a drag. The drag and the hitch with the ghost route. And we're gonna go through just a whole bunch of different ones here. So just try to keep up with me and just go and practice and start messing with these and see what you find get you the best spacing. But like, so now we have essentially a curl flat with the running back and the tight end. And you gotta wait a little bit for that crosser to get out of the curl space. So the two of them are gonna work off each other. And then we can do out route with the ghost and a hitch. So we're gonna have all sorts of options. Dual hitches. Look at the crosser. See but like I said, you're gonna have the ghost route as a dump off. You always have the ghost route as a dump off, or he's gonna draw coverage to him. And if you're using the angle route enough, then quite often users are gonna stay in the middle of the field waiting for it, and you're just gonna stop right there. So the user's gonna be out of position. And to be completely honest, the angle route is one of the best routes if you ask me in the game. As a matter of fact, the halfback apprentice routes, the angle route, and then the flat to table, to me those are the best. I absolutely love those. If I can use any apprentice route, it's those. So we set up two curl flats. And now we're gonna do the same thing, but we're gonna motion this curl out and see what that gives us. Yeah, I don't like that as much. But if we motion him out and put him on a dig, you know what? I bet I do that too, because that's exactly how my brain works. Because it looked like a good idea. Yeah, because the dig and the crosser, watch this. This is actually a great concept, because you're gonna have the ghost, the dig and the crosser. That's gonna be difficult, very, very difficult to stop. And you have the flat and the curl on the back end. That's beautiful. Now we're gonna try with an out route. Oh, out route in the wheel, of course, that's gonna be great. But you want to get the wheel early. You don't want to let him get up into the crosser space like we said before. So you can hit the wheel right here. And then if you're catching that with Kittle, see, that was too early. I'm too late, sorry. And if you're throwing it late, you're probably gonna pass lead inside to avoid that zone. But I want to throw it early, get Kittle on the run, and then truck people. You're absolutely gonna want to truck the living daylights out of everybody if you use on a tight end. Don't be out here juking with your tight ends and spinning with your tight ends. I say it almost every video. Juke and spin with running backs. Stiff arm with tight ends, truck with tight ends, and some running backs too. Like if you got Josh Jacobs and even Ezekiel Elliott, I'm trucking dudes with Zeke, trucking dudes with Leonard Fournette. Alright, so some of these we showed earlier. We're motioning out for the different spacing. Let's see what we can do. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, the out, the dig. You can see a lot of conflicting routes here. So you're just making your reads. I do that dig early, but I wouldn't do that anyway unless the user had one of those two out of there. Let's see. A wheel behind this works because the A and B are going to split the zones. Or pull the zones, and then the wheel splits the zones, what I should say. Yeah, see, that's nice. That B route will get open against some zones. It doesn't get open against this one, especially against Stephon Gilmore, because I'm about to throw an interception. But if you time it right, and I'm gonna go over that. If you time it right, you should be able to beat man, and you should be able to be cover 3/cover 4, because that's gonna get on the purples definitely. I've used that in many different offenses. That'll absolutely smoke purples. but you don't want to throw it against cloud flats, no. Now here we go. This is that bread and butter. I'm telling you, motion him over with no adjustments, and you got the 3 of them. And if the user has to chase over there, he's also going to have 2 zones. You're going to need a cloud and you're going to need a hard flat, and then he's going to have to still try to get over there because you got 3 routes going over there, right? And that dig route just going to be wide open on the back end if he can manage to cover all this. And then the drag gets ignored. The drag going to the back end. So you do this enough times, he's going to have so much going on trying to chase you down to the right side of the field. You do and just throw back to this drag and be able to run it up the field for 20 yards or so. I do that with so many of my offenses. Motioning this guy over here isn't a bad look, but it's not one that I'm going to use a lot. But it does, again, it's a similar sort of conflict, just at different levels. But I prefer it with the tight end motioned over. See, so let's have a look at it again. And like I said, it's not bad, but I feel like the timing might be better with the tight end. Yeah, I like it better with the tight end. But it's something you can mess around with. It's definitely viable. Alright, we get him back into that angle route. Get an out route. So whoever your best receiver is between your tight end, your halfbacks, and your fullbacks, you want to put him in the backfield. Unless you plan on running that power run a lot. But I tell you what, if you got the apprentice route, these 2 whips, and the angle route, it works against zones, and it's absolutely going to murder man, because all 5 of those routes are going to beat man. Those whips are going to beat man, the angle route is going to beat man. The outside whip is probably the one you want to throw the least, so the one that you motion out, because whips from in tight do better against man this year than they did than they whips out on the numbers. But look, now we put the streak up there, and look at B and RB. You see all the room they got? That's beautiful. As you can see, I actually really like this combo. This combo can do work because angle routes are something that give users hell. And if you have that angle route that they have to adjust for, and you also have a crosser that they have to adjust for, it's gonna be trouble. And this is gonna be great in the end zone too, as a matter of fact, because the whips do in the end zone, in the red zone. You're gonna get in the end zone with that whip and that angle route, absolutely. And we're gonna do another video or 2, and then I'll get you we'll do some goal line stuff. I absolutely love labbing goal line. I don't think enough people do. Everybody talks about how hard it is to score in the red zone. I don't think people lab the red zone because it's actually easy if you lab it. And you'll see in my gameplays, because I've labbed games red zone, there are times where I'll be at like the 19-yard line, and I have a play designed to get to the 12 or the 9, or in that area, because I know that once I get there, I got something that I can hit you with. I'm not afraid of it at all. In fact, I did it in the game last night. Yeah, and that was time running out. No, it wasn't last night. It was a couple nights ago. I went to overtime. Yeah. Oh god, that was the day I was drinking caffeine, and I suck at playing Madden when I'm caffeinated. But I think everybody has circumstances under which they should and shouldn't probably play Madden, right? That's just fine. All right, now these split back looks. I like the split back looks for goal line stuff. I'm just gonna go see what else is going on in your playbook. Yep. What's this? So that's the All right, so we're gonna go through this single back bunch tight end where we're motioning over the tight end. I absolutely want to get you used to making these reads. Now I have the Niners on the board, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put Kittle in the backfield. I would advise you, unless you plan on using the power run like I stated earlier, to put your best receiver in the backfield. Your best receiver between your halfbacks, your running backs, and your tight end. So if you're using the Saints, leave Alvin Kamara there by all for all intents and purposes. But if you're using the Niners, you want to put Kittle there. If you're using the Chiefs, I'll put Kelsey there. But I mean, it's entirely up to you. Like I said, if you intend to run the rock. But I'm treating this like it's an empty set, and one of my receivers will just line up in the backfield. So, hold on now. Going through the audibles, it's a habit for me to do this. But we're gonna move this rock. I always put the rock down here on the hash behind, at like my 30-yard line, because the axe on the 35-yard line, a lot of times I use when I'm going to replay to see where receivers are coming off the line relative to that axe. Because sometimes certain routes look like others, and you know you can use that to fool the defense. So that axe really gives you a reference point. So that's my little bit of geek 101 for you. I do some little geeky stuff when I'm laughing, yo. My brain's like that. All right, we're looking for that package. There you go, fullback. Now let's get to the cross drag. We're just going through cross drag, so we're talking about maybe 2 minutes, 4 minutes. Just want to show you what this looks like. I really want to make sure you got a good look at what this looks like with this motion, because the more I do it, the more I like it. So look, running back early, and he has room. And this is why I say make sure you have your best receiver right there, because you want to get upfield. Mind you, if you keep a running back there, then you're going to be spinning dudes out, juking dudes out. If that's Christian McCaffrey, you're going to hurt somebody. But for me, for you, if you're using a tight end, you catch this, you turn straight upfield and look to put your shoulder in somebody's rib cage. All right, and see, you see now I put the running back at receiver. That allows you to still be able to motion to some 11 personnel. So it's really just playing around with it, right? Because you've essentially just swap routes around. But you can keep your 3 receivers and 2 tight ends by all means. This was really just me. This is what you got to do when you're labbing. You want to play with it. But you see those 3 go, and then you got the dig trailing. And remember, you're always going to have this drag going the opposite way. See him busting out, look at the drag. With nothing but green grass in front of him, right? I'm telling you, the more I use this setup, and it's easy. You're not doing anything other than motioning this dude and snapping him after he passes the tight end. This time you got wide open, you could have hit him. Because he's going to beat a lot of things on that motion, as a matter of fact. Trust run that again. This time we're going to hit Y. We got to. Yeah, look at it. You're going to give people a lot of trouble with this. And then, like I said, you work some of those other combos that we were working in. There's a lot of other things that we were able to do with this one play. This play is powerful, man. So that's another one where I actually would have just quick pass Y real fast. But I'm just trying to look at all the options and see how everything's developing. And I really, really got to tell you, man, I love this play. Yeah, I'm actually going to hopefully get this in game tonight. I want to get it in game myself a little bit and really just mess around with maybe I just spam this for a whole quarter. Just run this play over and over and over and over. You absolutely can. And I've